High Admiral Zextal of the Arcadian Empire stood motionless before the quantum display, his iridescent scales reflecting the pulsing emergency lights that filled the bridge of the Imperial flagship Eternal Dawn. The signal they detected from the supposedly primitive Sector 317 defied all conventional wisdom. It wasn't the crude radio waves they'd expected from a developing world. It was a quantum-encrypted transmission that even their most advanced systems struggled to decode. "Impossible," muttered First Analyst Verisha, her neural tendrils writhing in agitation as she studied the data streams. This sector was surveyed just 3 centuries ago. The dominant species had barely mastered atmospheric flight. They shouldn't have quantum technology for at least another millennium. Zextal's inner eyelids clicked, a sign of deep thought among his species. The Arcadian Empire had stood as one of the galaxy's premier civilizations for over 50,000 years. They had guided countless species through their technological adolescence, ensuring they developed along the approved paths laid down by the Ancient Ones. But this was unprecedented. "Launch the investigation fleet," he commanded. "Standard first contact protocol for advanced civilizations. Let's see what these humans have been hiding from the galaxy." The Arcadian investigation fleet emerged from quantum space at the edge of the solar system, a magnificent array of 12 crystalline ships that had struck fear and awe into countless emerging civilizations. They expected to find a handful of primitive orbital stations, perhaps some crude attempts at interplanetary vessels. Instead, their sensors detected something that made even the veteran crew pause: a vast network of quantum-linked defense platforms encircling the entire system. Each platform housed technology that somehow merged principles the Arcadians had always considered incompatible: gravitic manipulation alongside mechanical thrust systems, quantum shields paired with physical armor. "They're hailing us," announced the communications officer. "The signal. It's coming through all our secured channels simultaneously." A holographic display materialized in the center of the bridge, showing a human female in a crisp military uniform. Her expression was perfectly neutral, but there was something in her eyes that made Zextal's combat instincts flare. "Arcadian Investigation Fleet. This is Commander Sarah Chen of the Earth Defense Force. You've entered a restricted system without authorization. While we acknowledge the Arcadian Empire's traditional role in evaluating emerging civilizations, I should inform you that Earth doesn't require such oversight. Please state your intentions." Zextal felt his scales bristle. The human's tone was perfectly diplomatic, but the underlying message was clear. They weren't impressed by the Arcadian fleet. More disturbing was her casual reference to their evaluation protocols. How long had these humans been watching the galaxy? "Commander Chen," he responded, injecting his voice with the authoritative resonance that had cowed so many species before. "I am High Admiral Zextal. Your civilization has demonstrated unauthorized technological development. The Empire requires—" "Admiral," Chen interrupted smoothly. "Perhaps I wasn't clear. We're not seeking authorization. We're extending diplomatic courtesy by allowing this conversation. Our sensors detected your fleet's quantum signature 3 days ago. We could have prevented your emergence into real space, but we preferred to handle this diplomatically." The bridge fell silent. Preventing quantum emergence was theoretically possible, but had never been practically achieved. If the humans could do it. "Impossible," First Analyst Verisha whispered. "Our scans show you using gravity drives alongside chemical propulsion, quantum shields with physical armor. These technologies should be mutually exclusive. The theoretical frameworks are based on assumptions that we found unnecessarily limiting," Chen completed. "Humanity took a different path, Admiral. While the galaxy's great civilizations refined single technological paths to their peak, we explored the spaces between them. Every technology has value when properly understood and integrated." Zextal's tactical display suddenly flared with warnings. Dozens of human vessels were decloaking around his fleet, ships that somehow merged the organic aesthetic of the collective worlds with the crystalline precision of Empire engineering. They had been surrounded the entire time. 300 years ago, Chen continued, your survey ships labeled us primitive because we still used chemical rockets. What they failed to notice was that we were already receiving and decoding your quantum transmissions. We learned about the galaxy at our own pace, developing our technology in ways your scientists claimed were impossible. We're not here to threaten the Empire, Admiral, but we won't be patronized. The quantum display updated, showing hundreds more human ships emerging from hidden bases across their system. Each vessel represented a perfect fusion of technologies that the galaxy's powers had always treated as separate paths. The humans hadn't just advanced, they'd fundamentally changed the rules of technological progression. We propose a diplomatic exchange, Chen offered. Your fleet will be escorted to Earth's orbital diplomatic center, where we can discuss the future relationship between humanity and the Arcadian Empire as equals. We have much to learn from each other, Admiral, but only if you can accept that the galaxy's understanding of primitive might need some revision. Zextal stared at the quantum display, watching as human ships took up escort positions around his fleet with precise coordination. In all his centuries of first contact missions, he'd never encountered anything like this. These humans hadn't just surprised the Empire. They'd completely upended the galaxy's understanding of technological development. The age of simply classifying species as primitive or advanced was over. Humanity had shown that true advancement meant understanding all paths, not just following the prescribed ones. As his fleet was escorted deeper into the solar system, Zextal realized that the galaxy was about to change forever. The humans hadn't just achieved the impossible, they'd made it look easy. The grand chamber of the Galactic Assembly stretched a kilometer into the artificial sky of Station Zero, its crystalline walls reflecting the light of 1,000 suns. Species from across the galaxy gathered in their environmental pods, a cacophony of different atmospheres and gravities maintained in perfect harmony. Today, for the first time in 10,000 years, a new species would address the full assembly. Ambassador Sarah Chen, the same woman who had faced down the Arcadian fleet, stood at the speaker's podium, her simple black uniform a stark contrast to the ornate biomechanical robes and environmental suits around her. The humans had refused the standard atmospheric pod, choosing instead to stand in the station's base atmosphere. It was a subtle message that wasn't lost on the assembly. Humanity could adapt where others required accommodation. Distinguished representatives, Chen began, her voice carrying through the chamber's quantum-linked translators. 3 centuries ago, your survey ships found Earth and deemed us too primitive for contact. Today, I stand before you not to demand recognition, but to offer perspective. The chamber's holoprojectors activated, displaying a 3-dimensional image of Earth's solar system. But instead of showing military might, it revealed something far more intriguing. Vast networks of quantum-linked research stations, each one dedicated to studying technology in ways the Assembly had never considered. While your civilizations mastered quantum mechanics by abandoning physical engineering, we asked why we couldn't have both, Chen continued. When you achieved faster-than-light travel through pure energy manipulation, we wondered about combining it with conventional propulsion. Your scientists said it was impossible. Our scientists asked, why? First Speaker Catal of the Collective Minds leaned forward in his hovering pod, his crystalline form pulsing with interest. You speak of impossibilities as if they were mere suggestions, Ambassador. Our civilizations have spent millennia perfecting these technological paths. The theoretical frameworks are based on assumptions that became doctrine. Chen interrupted smoothly. A new hologram appeared, showing the human ship under construction. The assembly watched in fascination as mechanical systems merged seamlessly with quantum field generators, while gravitic drives worked in perfect harmony with chemical thrusters. Humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology, Chen explained. It's our refusal to accept limitations without understanding them. When we intercepted your quantum transmissions 3 centuries ago, we didn't immediately try to replicate them. Instead, we studied why you believed certain technologies couldn't coexist. The chamber erupted in surprise murmurs. Elder Vorkath of the Silicon Consciousness raised his crystalline appendage. You've been monitoring our communications for 3 centuries. Impossible. Our quantum encryption was based on mathematical principles we approached from a different angle. Chen finished. While you refined quantum encryption to its theoretical peak, we explored how it interacted with classical encryption methods. The combination proved more effective than either approach alone. But not everyone was impressed. Ambassador Zextol of the Arcadian Empire rose from his pod, scales gleaming. These claims are extraordinary, Ambassador Chen. Yet we've seen no proof that your hybrid technologies are superior to our refined approaches. Perhaps a demonstration. The lights in the chamber flickered for precisely 1 second. When they stabilized, every display pod in the chamber showed the same message. Hybrid quantum classical encryption engage. Standard protocols insufficient. Chen allowed herself a small smile. That was a demonstration, Ambassador. Your pods just experienced a security upgrade combining your quantum protocols with what you would consider primitive encryption. Your security teams will find it's now impossible to breach these systems using either quantum or classical methods alone. The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity hadn't just developed alternative technologies. They'd found ways to make different technological approaches strengthen each other. It challenged everything the assembly believed about progress. But not everyone was celebrating this revelation. In the shadows of the chamber's upper tiers, representatives from several elder races exchanged worried glances. Humanity's approach to technology wasn't just revolutionary, it was dangerous. It threatened carefully maintained power structures that had kept the galaxy in balance for millennia. We propose an open exchange of knowledge, Chen continued, unaware of the dark thoughts brewing above. Not to replace your technologies, but to explore new possibilities together. Humanity doesn't seek to dominate the galaxy. We want to learn from you as much as you might learn from us. The first speaker's crystalline form pulsed with colors of agreement. A noble offer, Ambassador. But tell me, why reveal all this now? Why not continue your silent observation? Chen's expression grew serious. Because we've detected something troubling in our explorations of space. Someone is systematically eliminating civilizations that develop along unconventional technological paths. We believe Earth was meant to be contained, not just because we were seen as primitive, but because someone recognized the threat our approach to technology posed to the established order. The chamber erupted in shocked discussions, but Chen wasn't finished. We're not here just to join the assembly. We're here to find allies in uncovering a conspiracy that threatens not just humanity, but the very future of technological progress in our galaxy. As the assembly descended into chaos, the shadows in the upper tiers grew darker. Humanity hadn't just mastered impossible technologies. They'd stumbled upon a secret that certain powers had killed to protect. The diplomatic dance was about to become a shadow war, and humanity's hybrid technology would face its greatest test. Captain Maya Rodriguez stood on the bridge of the EDF Defiance, watching the holographic display of yet another destroyed human research outpost. This was the 5th attack in 2 weeks, each one precisely targeted at facilities, studying the integration of different technological approaches. The pattern was impossible to miss. Someone was trying to erase humanity's hybrid technology research. Analysis complete, announced Dr. James Chen, the ship's chief scientist and Ambassador Chen's brother. His hands moved through the holographic interface, combining quantum scans with traditional electromagnetic readings in ways that would have baffled assembly scientists. They're getting bolder. This attack left traces of both Arcadian and Silicon consciousness weapon signatures, but they're artificially aged, meant to look like old pirate salvage. Maya nodded, her augmented eyes picking up details others might miss. The Defiance itself was humanity's newest hybrid vessel, appearing deceptively simple to standard scans, while housing technology that defied conventional understanding. They're trying to make it look like random attacks, but they don't understand how our sensor technology works, do they? No, James smiled grimly. They still think in terms of either quantum or classical detection. They haven't realized we can track the interaction between different technological signatures. Every weapon leaves a trace in multiple spectrums, if you know how to look for the patterns between them. The holographic display shifted, showing a complex web of technological signatures spreading across several sectors. Traditional assembly sensors would have seen each signature type separately, missing the crucial patterns that emerge when they were viewed together. It was humanity's gift and curse to see the connections others missed. Contact. Lieutenant Park's voice cut through the bridge. Multiple vessels emerging from quantum space. Their signatures are masked, but they're using that same hybrid masking technique we detected at the research outpost. The Shadow Fleet appeared at the edge of their sensor range. Sleek vessels that seemed to flicker between different technological states, as if someone had tried to copy humanity's hybrid approach without fully understanding it. Maya's augmented vision caught the subtle flaws in their design, the places where different technologies fought against each other instead of working in harmony. They think they've caught us alone, Maya observed, allowing herself a small smile. Status of the quantum fold. Holding stable, James reported. They haven't detected the pocket of space-time we've carved out. The rest of the fleet is ready on your mark. Maya nodded, remembering the weeks of preparation that had led to this moment. After the third attack, Earth's defense forces had realized their enemies would eventually target a major research facility. Instead of fortifying their remaining outposts, they'd created an irresistible target and waited. They're launching fighters, Park announced. Strange design. Looks like they've tried to combine Arcadian quantum drives with Collective Minds biotech. But the integration is crude, almost like they stole the technology instead of developing it, James finished. They've taken pieces of our research, but they don't understand the principles behind making different technologies work together. They're cargo cult engineers trying to copy what they don't understand. The enemy fleet moved into attack formation, their crude hybrid technology creating visible distortions in space-time. They expected to find a single Earth vessel guarding a vital research facility. What they didn't know was that the Defiance had spent the last 3 days using its true hybrid systems to fold space itself, creating a pocket dimension that now held 30 of Earth's most advanced ships. They're charging weapons, Park reported. Multiple types. Quantum disruptors, plasma cannons, even some kind of biological weapons system. They're throwing everything at us. Maya's expression remained calm. They still think technology is about power, using the strongest weapons they can steal or copy. They haven't learned that true strength comes from understanding how different systems interact. She paused, watching the enemy fleet move into the perfect position. Signal the fleet. Let's show them the difference between copying technology and understanding it. Space itself seemed to ripple as the quantum fold collapsed, revealing Earth's hidden fleet in a perfect sphere around the enemy vessels. But instead of opening fire, the Earth ships began generating overlapping fields of influence: gravitational, quantum, electromagnetic, and even biological. Each field type was harmless alone, but together they created something new. A cascading resonance that caused the enemy's crude hybrid systems to fall out of sync with each other. Their weapons are failing, Park reported with professional satisfaction. Their hybrid drives are destabilizing. They tried to copy our technology without understanding the fundamental principle, harmony between different systems. The enemy fleet hung helpless in space, their stolen technology turned against them by forces they couldn't comprehend. As Earth's vessels moved in to secure the ships and their crews, Maya turned to James. Begin full spectrum analysis. Let's find out who's really behind these attacks and why they're so afraid of humanity's approach to technology. The captured ships would provide answers, but Maya suspected they would only confirm what Earth's leaders already feared. There was a hidden power in the galaxy that had maintained control not through superior technology, but by keeping different technological approaches separate and controlled. Humanity's crime wasn't just advancing too quickly, it was showing the galaxy that true progress came from synthesis rather than separation. As the Defiance's crews began boarding the disabled enemy vessels, Maya received a priority quantum transmission from Earth. More research outposts had been attacked, but these strikes had targeted something new. Ancient alien ruins that humanity had been quietly studying. Someone wasn't just trying to stop humanity's technological development. They were trying to prevent them from discovering something hidden in the galaxy's past. The Shadow War was entering a new phase, and the next battlefield would be fought not just with ships and weapons, but with knowledge that could reshape the galaxy's understanding of its own history. The ancient ruins on Proxima floated in space before them, massive structures that predated every known civilization in the galaxy. The EDF Defiance hung in high orbit alongside the science vessel Curiosity, their hybrid sensors probing the mysterious structures with every known form of detection technology simultaneously. "The attack fleet will be here in 10 minutes, Lieutenant Park announced, her hands dancing over the holographic controls. 12 capital ships, at least 30 support vessels. They're not even trying to hide their signatures anymore." Captain Rodriguez nodded, her augmented vision processing multiple layers of sensor data. The ruins held answers, not just about humanity's hybrid technology, but about why certain powers in the galaxy were so desperate to keep different technological approaches separate. "Dr. Chen, what have you found?" she asked, turning to where James worked furiously at his station. "Everything," he breathed, his eyes wide with wonder. "These aren't just ruins. They're a library. The original builders, they were like us, Maya. They believed in synthesis, in combining different approaches. Look at this." The main holographic display filled with images from the ruins' interior. Ancient machinery showed the same principles humanity had rediscovered. Quantum systems working alongside mechanical ones, biological technology integrated with digital interfaces. But there was something more, something that made Maya's enhanced eyes widen. "Their technology," she whispered. "It's not just hybrid. It's adaptive. Each system learns from and enhances the others. Is this where our inspiration came from? Did we somehow intuit their principles?" James shook his head. "No, that's what's remarkable. We developed our approach independently. These ruins, they're proof that we're not wrong. The galaxy's current technological separation isn't natural. It's artificial. Imposed." "Incoming transmission," Park interrupted. "It's broadcasting on all frequencies, using our own hybrid communication protocols." The holographic display shifted, showing a figure Maya recognized from the assembly, Elder Vorkath of the Silicon Consciousness. But something was different about him. His crystalline form seemed to pulse with multiple types of energy, technologies that his species had publicly rejected. "Captain Rodriguez," the Elder's voice carried an edge of desperation. "Your persistence has forced our hand. Those ruins contain knowledge that could destabilize the entire galaxy. Surrender now, or we will be forced to take more direct action." Maya smiled slightly. "You mean like the direct action you took against the original builders? How long have you been suppressing hybrid technology, Elder? How many civilizations have you contained to maintain your control?" "You understand nothing," Vorkath spat. "We saw what unlimited technological synthesis led to. The builders nearly tore reality apart with their experiments. We saved the galaxy by establishing controlled paths of development, order, structure, safety." "No," James interrupted, his voice firm. "You saw power you couldn't control. The builders didn't fail. They were deliberately destroyed. By you. By the secret council that's been guiding galactic development ever since. But you didn't understand their technology well enough to completely erase it, did you?" The Elder's crystalline form flickered with anger. "You have 1 minute to surrender, humans. We will not allow another species to threaten galactic stability with uncontrolled technological synthesis." Maya's smile widened. "Funny thing about synthesis, Elder. It's not just about technology. Lieutenant Park, show them what a species that believes in combining different approaches can really do." The space around the Defiance suddenly lit up as 50 ships dropped their quantum camouflage. vessels from a dozen different assembly species, all modified with human hybrid technology. In the weeks since the Shadow War began, Earth's diplomats had been busy, finding allies among species who had questioned the assembly's rigid technological restrictions. "You're not the only ones who can build alliances," Maya declared. "But unlike you, we believe in genuine cooperation. Every ship you see has been enhanced with technology that respects and builds upon their own cultural approach to science. We don't suppress or control. We adapt and synthesize." "Impossible," Vorkath breathed. "These species, they would never question the assembly's technological restrictions." James finished. "Never wonder why certain paths of development were forbidden. You've underestimated the galaxy's desire for true progress, Elder, and you've completely misjudged humanity's greatest strength." The Elder's attack fleet began powering weapons, but Maya could see the hesitation in their movements. Their sensors would be showing them something unprecedented. Dozens of species technologies working in perfect harmony, each making the others stronger. "Last chance, Elder," Maya offered. "Stand down, or we demonstrate exactly why the Builder's legacy survived in spite of your best efforts to erase it. You're not facing one species with dangerous ideas anymore. You're facing a galaxy that's ready to remember how to innovate again." The tension in space reached its peak as the Elder's fleet faced a coalition of species wielding technology that shouldn't have been possible. The next few moments would determine not just the fate of humanity's approach to technology, but the future of galactic development itself. And in the ancient ruins below, systems that had waited millennia for a species to rediscover the true principles of technological synthesis began to awaken, ready to share secrets that would forever change the balance of power in the galaxy. The Grand Chamber of the Galactic Assembly had never been so crowded. Representatives from every known species packed the vast space, their environmental pods humming with barely contained energy. At the center of it all, Captain Maya Rodriguez stood alongside Ambassador Chen, facing the gathered leaders of the secret council that had controlled galactic technology for millennia. The evidence was irrefutable. Data recovered from both the ancient ruins and the captured shadow fleets played across every screen in the chamber. Proof of systematic suppression of technological innovation, orchestrated destruction of civilizations that dared to explore hybrid approaches, and the deliberate fragmentation of scientific knowledge across the galaxy. For 50,000 years, Ambassador Chen addressed the chamber, her voice carrying the weight of discovery. "You convinced the galaxy that certain technologies couldn't coexist, that progress could only follow specific, controlled paths. You didn't just hide the truth. You made the very concept of technological synthesis seem impossible." Elder Vorkath and his fellow council members sat in a specially constructed containment pod, their own hybrid technology now revealed to the galaxy they had claimed to protect. "We maintained order," the Elder insisted. "The Builder's technology nearly destroyed everything. We prevented chaos." "No," Maya stepped forward, her augmented eyes meeting the Elder's crystalline gaze. "You prevented understanding." "Captain Rodriguez, show them what we found in the ruins." The chamber's holographic systems activated, but this time they displayed something new. The complete historical records of the Builders, restored from data that had waited millennia to be rediscovered. The images showed a civilization that had achieved wonders through the harmonious integration of all forms of technology. "The Builders didn't fail," James Chen explained, pointing to key data streams. "Their civilization didn't collapse because of technological synthesis. They were attacked, systematically destroyed by the same group that would become your secret council. Not because their technology was dangerous, but because it made control impossible." The chamber erupted in shocked discussions as the truth became clear. The Builders hadn't been trying to tear reality apart. They had been on the verge of sharing their technological understanding with the entire galaxy. The secret council had emerged from species that feared losing their technological advantages, who believed control was more important than progress. "But you made a fundamental mistake," Ambassador Chen continued. "You thought suppressing knowledge was enough. You never consider that another species might naturally discover the same principles the builders understood. That true progress comes from harmony, not separation. Maya activated her neural interface, connecting with the Defiance in orbit. Around the station, dozens of ships from the newfound coalition decloaked, each one demonstrating the successful integration of multiple technological approaches. But instead of weapons, they were projecting something else, a unified field of quantum-enhanced communication that reached every corner of populated space. Today, we're not just exposing the truth, Maya announced. We're sharing knowledge. The builders left us more than just technology. They left us a philosophy, one that humanity rediscovered on our own. The understanding that diversity breeds innovation, that different approaches strengthen each other when properly understood. The chamber screens filled with technical data, not just from the builders and humans, but from every species in the coalition. Centuries of artificially separated knowledge began flowing together, creating new possibilities that even humanity hadn't imagined. This is what you really feared, James addressed the contained council members. Not that hybrid technology would destroy the galaxy, but that it would make your control obsolete. When every species can learn from and build upon each other's discoveries, artificial restrictions become meaningless. Ambassador Chen stepped forward one last time. The galaxy stands at a crossroads. We can continue down the path of separation and control, or we can embrace the principle that both humanity and the builders discovered. That true strength comes from synthesis, from understanding how different approaches can work together. The assembly erupted in discussion, but the outcome was already clear. Species that had been restricted to single technological paths for millennia were seeing new possibilities. The artificial barriers between different approaches were dissolving, replaced by a new understanding of how technology could evolve. As the former council members were led away to face justice, Maya watched the celebrations beginning across the chamber. Humanity's greatest contribution to the galaxy hadn't been military might or technological superiority. It had been the rediscovery of a simple truth, that progress comes not from the dominance of one approach, but from the harmony of many. In orbit above, the ancient ruins pulsed with new energy as their systems fully reactivated, ready to share knowledge with a galaxy finally prepared to understand it. The builder's legacy hadn't been one of destruction, but of unity, a truth that humanity had helped the galaxy rediscover. The age of separation was over. The age of synthesis had begun.